Thank you. Welcome to the California Department of Education's Farm to School Workshop. The California Department of Education, which we call CDE, strongly supports Farm to School, and we are so pleased in your interest to help us bring farm fresh local foods to students through their school meals. Today, we'll hear from 4 school food service directors who will share with you a little bit about their role and where Farm to School fits, as well as their experience with local purchasing and advice for small farmers and ranchers on how to best work with school. My name is Stephanie Russell, and I work on Farm to School in the Nutrition Services Division at CDE. Let's get started. As I introduce our speakers, please help us get to know you by introducing yourself in the chat. Tell us your name, where you're from, what you grow, or the name of your farm. And as you're doing that, I'm happy to welcome and introduce you to 4 dynamic food service directors who are committed to incorporating fresh, local, minimally processed foods into student-informed and culturally inspired meals for our students. First, we have Amanda Harvey of Fresno Unified School District, Jean Aiken of Pajaro Valley Unified School District, Kelsey Perouse of Live Oak School District, and we also have Tanya Courtney from Benicia Unified School District. Again, my name is Stephanie Russell from Nutrition Services of the CDE, and I specialize in Farm to School, and it is my honor to facilitate this conversation. So during our time together, our panel of food service directors will share impactful stories of their work with small farmers and practical tips on working with schools. As we move through our conversation, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. Thank you, and comments go in the chat. We will do our best to answer your questions at the end of this workshop, and we'll certainly try to address all of them. But if for some reason we can't get to them all, we will provide you with contact information for more discussion. We've also put the resources we're sharing into a handout that you can access on the conference website. Please note that our guest speakers may mention names of businesses, and CDE does not endorse any private businesses. With that, let's begin. We're proud to welcome these school food service directors who buy food from small farmers and thank them for being with us today. They each approach this work a little differently, which gives us a breadth of experience to help you with your work with schools. Today, we'll share our key points conversationally, asking our panelists to share from each of these important aspects of linking farm to school to support local foods in school meal programs. Number 1, steps to building successful relationships with school districts. Number 2, the methods that school food service can use to buy local food. And 3, important food safety practices needed for selling to school food service. So we're going to start off with our first question. How did you start with Farm to School, and where are you now? Our panelists are invited to cover topics such as their top priorities, what they juggle from day to day, the types of kitchen facilities they have, and most important factors to consider with school food service. I'll turn it over to Kelsey, representing small districts.
Hi, and welcome everyone. It's great to be here with you today. As Stephanie mentioned, my name is Kelsey Perouse, and I'm the food service director for Live Oak School District, and we're located in Santa Cruz, California. We have a tiny district, so we feed about 1,700 students, or serve 1,700 students. And one thing that I love about being a small district is we're really agile. When I first started in Farm to School, I actually worked for a larger district. I worked for Santa Clara Unified, and we had a 13.1 acre farm. And it was in that district that I really got to see the power of what happened when you brought organic produce into the cafeteria and what that did for students. So when I came into a smaller district, it was really a priority to me to continue that work. And our district motto is we're growing a generation of healthy eaters. So when we're thinking about what we're serving to our students, we're always trying to think about how are we helping our students grow. And we know that that really comes from our partnerships with small local farmers. One of the things that's a benefit in my school district is we have a central kitchen. And so what that means is a lot of produce will come into our central kitchen space, and then I get to produce that, and it goes out to all of my school sites. When we think about just getting in local produce, that can really be a challenge if you don't have the right distribution. So for us, that's really important. We also are always thinking and really juggling about student preferences. And so we're thinking about what's seasonal and local, but also what our students will enjoy. And that's why I really wanted to share. We really wanted to get our students to be on fire to eat beets, as you can see from our taste test. And when we served them on the salad bar, we noticed, it was going okay. But then when we started cooking them and processing them and putting them to beet muffins and then doing taste tests, it ended up being something that our students loved. So one of our superpowers in a small district is we get to be kind of fun and creative and agile and really dive in and get to know our students.
Thank you, Kelsey. Next, we'll have Tanya speak.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tanya Courtney. I work with the Benicia Unified School District. We are also a small district, about 4,650 students, and we are located close to the Bay Area. And our focus is implement more and more the scratch cooking. We partnership with Chef Ann so we can educate our employees to do scratch cooking. And for that, we start purchasing from the small farmers. With that, also, we implemented like taste testing with our students for new recipes. So then we also can teach them where the product comes from the farm, what they can do with the product, and not only just eat raw or fruits, but also implement into their daily diet. So, like I said, we're small, so I have to wear many hats. So we are like happy to do all the procurement. We work with small budget. We make sure the food is safe, and we follow all the procurement rules. We make sure that our staff is committed and learning each day more and more about the nutrition, because for us it's important to make sure that the students move in life forward with the special meals, and then with the meals that have all what they need.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank
Sorry.
you. No, this is great. Next up, we have Jean Aiken from Pajaro Valley Unified School District.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeannie Aiken. I am the director for Pajaro Valley Unified School District. We are located primarily in Watsonville, which is in South Santa Cruz County. We have 34 sites. We serve, actually, we have fewer than 17,000 students. We have closer to 15,000, and we do 8,000 lunches per day. We have kind of a unique situation. We have most of our secondary sites are what's called self-operating or self-op. So they get all of the materials they need to run their programs at their site. And then for most of our elementary schools, we rely on a central kitchen where we make the food for all the elementary schools, and then it goes out to the sites. We've been doing Harvest of the Month for a very long time. That's kind of how we got into the Farm to School program, and that's where we focus on one farm each month and focus on whatever that specialty is, whether it's strawberries or kiwis or whatever it happens to be. And that's a great way to introduce the kids to some fun produce. But we've been purchasing more and more local produce, I would say, over the last 5 years due to a variety of incentives, which we greatly appreciate. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that because I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. So next we'll finish with our largest district and hear from Amanda Harvey of Fresno Unified School District.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Harvey, Nutrition Services Director for Fresno Unified. We are the third largest school district in California. We serve over 70,000 students. We have 103 serving locations. We are 100% CEP, so that means all of our children eat at no cost. We have over 500 food service professionals. We have a large central kitchen that services 81 of our sites and 25 full prep kitchens. which means like what Jean just said, that they make all their stuff. They do get a lot of items from our central kitchen, because here at our central kitchen we have a very large cook chill operation, which helps produce from scratch things like our we have sauces. We do like a chicken pasole broth from here. We do our spaghetti sauce, our chili beans, a number of items. And then we also have our large bakery operations where we are making our whole grain dinner rolls, our whole grain cookies. We're also trying and testing out some biscuits this year and some cornbread items. Um, Students are our top priority, so we always want to get our students' voice when we're making our menus. And then as far as farm to school in our district, we've always been really focused on having local vendors in our meal program. We had when I started in 2015, I started as the district nutritionist, and we reached out to many local vendors to see if they could produce similar items that we might normally get from a larger entity to try and stay as local as we can. And the same with our fresh produce as well. Being here in Fresno, we do have such large, we're basically the breadbasket of the world. So we have lots of produce, and we want to highlight that on our menus.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. So to sum up all this input from 4 different unique districts, they are a bit alike in some ways and a bit different in others, depending on the number of students, type of kitchen, and the type of service and cooking equipment. Districts often ask for input from their main customers, their students, and schools have to satisfy these customers while meeting federal and state nutrition standards and sticking to their budget. Many schools have salad bars, and many are doing more and more scratch cooking as they're able to upgrade their kitchens, which is great news for local produce. Districts may have a central kitchen and warehouse, as well as kitchens and storage at individual schools, which can affect their delivery needs. Farm to school programs usually start small and grow over time, and it does take time to build a farm to school program. They grow year after year. Some have a harvest of the month program that features a fruit and vegetable each month. The takeaway from this question is that although each district is different, our schools support and protect access to quality and nutritious meals for students in California to grow, learn, and thrive. Spend some time to get to know each district one by one to learn what they need. So next, we'll ask questions related to some of the details and logistics of working with farms and ask our panel to share their experience and tips. For most of these questions, we'll hear from a mix of a small district and a large district. So our next question is, what do you look for in a local vendor? How would you recommend a farmer approach you? And we'll start with Jean from Pajaro Valley and finish with Kelsey from Live Oak District. So Jean, what do you look for in a partner?
Well, first of all, most of the organic produce we buy all organic produce when we possibly can, especially when we're featuring it. We look for something hyper local, which is, I think, popular for a lot of school districts. We try to stay within 50 miles of our district. And as far as our district is concerned, we're always willing to take calls or have people drop in to tell us about their farm and what they offer, etc. But just be aware that it does take time. Sometimes you might start really small, like by only providing a few cases a week, and then as the relationship grows, we would buy more from you. And I think that's a fairly common trend for most school districts, not to start too large. Yeah, I think the calls and just making contact is a good way to start.
Great, thank you, Jean. Kelsey, what is important for you in a local vendor?
I would echo a lot of what Jeannie said. I think we also look for hyper local, and we do define that also as within 50 miles. One thing in a local vendor, we always think about feed kids good food safely. So I always want to work with someone who has good safety practices because we're feeding tiny humans. So it's really important to make sure those processes are in place. We also are looking for people who are good communicators because we need consistency for our students. If I promise my students that I'm going to have organic local strawberries and those strawberries don't show up, I'm going to get a lot of tears and sad faces. So we do want to know ahead of time if changes are going to happen. We've had a lot of success working with our small local growers. We have a strawberry grower who we've worked with for about 4 seasons, and she's very consistent. If something's coming up and changing, if the rains are coming, she lets us know as fast as she can because she knows that our customers are little kids, and that's really important. We also, when farmers are approaching us, a couple different ways. A lot of times we'll get emails and I'll get emails as the director. And if it's not something I'm handling, I'll forward that to the person on my team. The other thing is we have a partnership where we buy from our local farmers market. And so sometimes I love to know what a farmer's superpower is. So I just met a farmer this past weekend because we were there for Dia de la Familia. And she shared with me that she grows the best Armenian cucumbers. And she's like, if you want to menu anything for your kids, this is what it should be. So also, if you have something that's really a standout crop, kind of like Jeannie said, that's a great way to get into a district and let that be the one thing that we're buying and then kind of slowly develop the relationship over time. But I think all directors are pretty nice and friendly. And if we can partner with you and it works for our kids in our district, we'll try to make it happen.
Great. Thank you, Kelsey. So to sum it up, we did have some earlier discussions with all 4 food service directors, and these are some notes from that rich discussion. So to sum it up, what school food service is looking for is communication that is clear, frank, timely, regular, and open. Let the food service director know if there are any delays or changes in an order so they can make changes in staffing and menus. Provide clear information on pricing, packaging, and delivery upfront. It's helpful if you have an understanding of how schools work. The product needs to be very high quality and within a certain price point. Service needs to be reliable and consistent. Be willing to show your farm and your food safety practices. Many districts are looking for hyperlocal farms that are nearby within 50 miles. And depending on the size of the district, they may need someone who can offer a small amount or supply a large amount. Knowing what a school is looking for in a business partner can help you prepare as you are exploring a relationship, as you are exploring a partnership, excuse me. Okay, so our next question is, what do farmers need to know about school districts? So we'll hear from Tanya and then Amanda on what information they think would be helpful for a farmer to know to sell to school districts. So Tanya, let's start with you.
For us, since we are smaller, for us, it's important for them to know that we plan about weeks or months ahead of time. So it's important for us to know what they would have planned in the crops and what's coming up. Also, it's important for them to know, like she said, we feed little kids, and then the produce has to be to par for our clientele. So if the product doesn't look good, if it's too green or it's too ripe, we're not going to take it. We're going to refuse because the kids are the most important thing for us. And if it doesn't look good, we're not going to serve. Also, they need to know that usually when you work with schools districts, the payments is not right away. Usually it's about 30 days for them to get paid for. And then I also, like you said before, the prices need to be stable. You know, we need to know where we're standing because we have our budget and we need to maintain in line. And also, one of the most important thing for me is maintain good communication and good relationship. So be open to talk about when things are not working or things that we are looking for different options and have them have open mind about that.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Amanda, can you please share next what you look for in a vendor?
Yes, what I look for and what I think our vendors should know, what would be helpful to know about food service directors is that we have a lot to manage throughout the day. So, there's a lot happening basically. There's oftentimes sometimes where these food service directors, myself and the ladies on the call might actually be serving our students during the lunch period. Lunchtime is not a good time to try and visit a food service director. Please try to be mindful of that. Also be mindful of what day of the week it is. Mondays tend to be a little harder on us. Also, I have an example. I had a very large company's representative come try to just drop in, which generally with our district, we do request a appointment in advance. Our front office can help set that up. But we had like I said, a very large company, a representative from there come on the first day of school. I was like, today is the first day of school. We've got quite a lot happening. We are not going to be able to meet with you. So just some of those things keep in mind. And then, like Tanya said, we as well, we plan out our menus about 8 weeks. Well, we have our menus set about 8 weeks out in advance. We give our vendors 6 to 8 weeks notice prior to, but our menu planning happens months in advance. In January, we start planning for August menus. And another thing to keep in mind, menu planning and incorporating farm to school and seasonality is a muscle that school districts needs to learn and practice on. So again, just help us learn with us as many school districts. This might be a newer thing for them to do. What they'll be needing from you would be your seasonality charts, estimates of what you'll have in stock at certain seasons of the year, what'll be available, and then which items you grow on your farm.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. So to sum it up, some key points that we heard from our speakers are that most plan their menus months in advance. Schools are consistent buyers and they buy volume, but they do need competitive, stable pricing. They require high quality produce for very tough customers. Directors play many roles in food service, from management to serving food on the line. And school food service has to meet nutritional and meal regulations. Farmers also need to be sure to register with the district with a W-9 and liability insurance. They need to be prepared to wait up to 3 months to be paid. And it takes time to build a relationship with the school. Directors play many roles in food service, so please be patient with them. And being knowledgeable about school district operations, limitations, and requirements can help avoid surprises and help you know what you can expect. Some ways to build a relationship are to feature a farmer on a newsletter or a menu, have a farmer visit a classroom or a taste test, and ask a farmer to host a mini farmers market. So we're going to switch gears now and share an overview of the different purchasing methods that schools can use, and this will provide some background for the next discussion. Schools have 3 main buying methods, and each has a threshold or a dollar amount that can be spent. The first is micro purchases, which are purchases under $15,000 or under $50,000 if the school has completed additional certifications. These do not require bids if the price is considered reasonable, and they are often used for local purchases. The second method is called simplified acquisitions, which are purchases from $350,000, purchases under $350,000, and require 2 quotes or bids. And the third is called formal purchases for more than $350,000, and they require a public advertising, specifications, and evaluation measures. There are a few methods that schools can use within this category, called invitations for bid, often shortened to IFBs, and requests for proposals, often called RFPs. It's important to remember that schools are spending public money to buy food, and the process must be fair for everyone, and the method must allow for free and open competition. There's more information in the resources handout. That's a quick overview of purchasing. For the next question, we'll hear from all of our panelists. Please share with us what buying method you use to buy from small farmers, and how would a farmer learn what their local schools use, And what does a farmer need to do business with a school? So we're going to start with Amanda and go from the largest district to the smallest. So Amanda, could you share, please?
Yes. So Fresno Unified, we utilize all of the methods to procure. So we do everything from formal bids to micro purchases. Our district does follow the state threshold for when we need to go out for a formal bid, which is much lower than the federal at 350,000. It's closer to 114,000, I believe, right now. And so anything over that state threshold, we go out to a formal bid. And so as such a large district, it doesn't take very long for us to need to go out to a formal bid. And we do, like Stephanie mentioned, we have different versions, the IFBs and the RFPs. We do tend to lean towards RFPs when it comes to food because we do want to be able to evaluate on more criteria than just price because we do want to make sure we are getting the best vendor and the best value for our dollar amount. We do actually, in fact, we are about to go out to, for a formal RFP for our produce in the next couple of months. With our district, we have an online process called Procureware. So if someone is interested in that upcoming bid, they could reach out to our front desk and we can help them get registered for that. But for smaller farmers that might be really intimidated by that process, we do try to utilize as often as we can the micro purchases. And we do have the ability to self-certify to go up to the $50,000 for the micro purchase. And so we have done that with several items, like when we're testing things, when we're trying a new recipe, we might utilize a local farmer to test that item. And then, or if there's maybe we just want to capture a local seasonal item that will menu just a few times before we go over that 50,000, that's when we would utilize a micro purchase.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, Jean, how do you handle your purchasing?
Oops. She's mute. You're mute.
Jean, you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
So yes, we do micro purchase as well as formal bid for all of our produce. We can also go up to the $50,000 threshold on our micro purchases. So that's what we do. We work with Watsonville Coast Produce. They're our primary produce purveyor, and we use them because they can go to every single site. They can deliver to every single site twice a week. And we know for some of our smaller farmers, that's not very feasible. So we use them for basic things. And then we do the micro purchase method for our smaller local farmers. I would say a farmer could learn about what their school is serving by looking at their menu, get on the website and look at their menu, maybe follow them on Instagram or Facebook and see what their food service program is posting about. And then a farmer needs to know, we've already discussed a lot of that. You do have to have the W-9 and liability insurance and a lot of patience.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, Tanya?
So we do both. We do the micro purchase and the informal purchase. And we utilize some of the small farmers that they were recommended to us through the California Department of Agriculture because we are too close to the Bay Area. We're a little bit farther from the bigger, more farming areas. So they recommended some from us, and then some did work, some did not work, depending where we are looking for to our needs more into put on the new recipes that we are developing. And we do have salad bars. We do utilize a lot of the fresh fruits and vegetables and the salad bars, and then in our products. But we are looking for partners that are willing to take a small orders until we can grow to a bigger order, and sometimes it's hard to find that when they come through our town, because we are this little town right before the bridge, so it's kind of a little difficult area to get through. But we make good connections, and we're really happy with them, and they work well with us.
Great. Thank you, Tanya. And we're going to finish with Kelsey in the smallest district. And please tell us about your purchasing methods.
So similar to the other panelists, we do use micro purchasing. We do self-certify to the 50,000. That is how I work with almost all of my small local growers, because I'm a smaller district that does tend to meet our needs. Unlike a big district like Fresno, that 50,000 goes a lot further for us. We do also, just like Jeannie, we get some of our produce through Watsonville Coast Produce, and that is done through a formal bid. Because we're such a small district, we're a member of a co-op. So when I do formal bids, I'm normally doing that in collaboration with 22 other school districts. One thing that I would think about if you wanted to know what your local school districts are doing, you could always send an email and ask how they're accepting bids, or kind of like Amanda mentioned where she was in her bid cycle. A lot of our formal bids last about 3 years. They can go out to bid at different times. So if you were looking to do a formal bid, it would be a great thing to just check in and ask where people are in their bid cycle, so you would know how to prepare for that.
Great. Thank you. Interesting. Thank you all for sharing all these details on how you make purchases. So that some of the key takeaways about purchasing are that most districts use a combination of buying from farms and using a large distributor. It can change, their method of purchasing can change with the size of the district, but most use a combination of micro purchases up to 50,000 and the formal bids. Delivery can be a key factor. The ability to deliver can be very important for districts. Small districts can buy smaller amounts to meet their needs, and because of their size, it may be easier for them to make direct purchases using the micro purchase method. So in contrast, the large districts need to buy a very large volume, which requires formal bidding process. They can make micro purchases for a special occasion or need, which is a great way for schools to try a new product or bring in a specialized product for a special occasion or celebration meal. Districts are buying directly from farmers, buying through food hubs, and often look for farms that are very close to them. It's important to know the schools do need farmers to register with the district as a vendor, and to get in touch with the district and find out if they're accepting bids and where they are in their cycle of accepting bids. Some of the cycles can last 3 years, so just check in with the district, learn the timeline. Thank you. So next, we did hear from farmers that they are very interested in knowing more about the planning and ordering process in school food service. So we'll ask our food service directors to share with us. How far in advance do you place an order with the farmer? When's the best time to talk with you? How and how often would you like to check in with the farmer? And so we'll hear first from Kelsey and then Amanda. So Kelsey, can you please share your planning process?
Yep, I'm happy to. So we start our planning process in February for the previous school year. So sometimes people talk about years in different ways. The way a food service director normally talks about a year is it starts in August, because that's the start of their school year, and the end of our big school year is in May. So when we're saying the year, we're planning in February and thinking about what's going to happen in the following August. And that's when we get in our government commodities and we start thinking about what we're going to menu. As we kind of progress, normally by March or April, I've at least started drafting menus for the following year, and I try to have them finalized by May or June. This is also when I start working with my small partners. So not only do we do local procurement for produce, but we also try to do local meats. So what we'll do is we'll make a master spreadsheet and we'll connect. We buy, so a lot of our produce will come through our local farmers market. And so we'll ask them what the market would have available and what the seasonality would be. And that's when we start loosely attaching poundage to what we're going to do for the following year. So we'll do it for our meats and we also do it for our produce. We do that for our own planning, but we also do that to help the growers think about how much and in what volume we'd be buying. So I would say it's a great time to talk to a director anytime, but if you're really trying to get in for the following school year, so that would be starting in August, you would want to be reaching out at least by the spring of the previous school year if you're looking to be kind of a mainstay or a staple on the menu.
Great. Thank you, Kelsey. Okay, Amanda, being such a large district, can you please share about what your planning process is like?
Yes, so I think I jumped the gun and answered this already, but I'm happy to say again and elaborate a little bit more. So again, we do order, we forecast to our vendors and let them know 6 to 8 weeks in advance of what we'll be needing. And we start planning menus about 6 to 8 months in advance. If we're doing recipe development, that could be happening even a year in advance. It oftentimes will take us about a year to really perfect a recipe. Like I mentioned earlier, our cornbread, that one has been a multi-year thing we've been trying to really perfect. The best time, again, like Kelsey said, we're really open most any times. Again, avoid the first day of school, avoid lunch times, an email, a call to our front office to set up an appointment or is really the best way to approach them. And then how often would you like to check in with a farmer? I think it's probably best to leave that in the food service director's hands. So if we need something, we know where to go and how to reach out. Let us know what you have, what your seasonality is. I have one co-op that is free, he like maybe every 6 weeks will send us just the list of what's coming in stock. And that is great to know. And it's very low key. There's not like an expectation. He just lets me know what's on his upcoming list of items, which is great. He's not really pushy or pressury on that. And I really appreciate that interaction and that, brief email, just, hey, Amanda, this is what we've got coming up, you might be interested in. And I always appreciate seeing those emails.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. I was wondering if you could share for people who are not familiar with the school meal patterns, like when you're planning a menu, what is required to be in a meal?
Yes, so all of our all of our lunches require a half cup for it's kind of varies on grades, but for elementaries, they'll require a half cup of fruit and 3/4 cups vegetables. And then our high school pattern is a full cup of fruits and a full cup of vegetables. And then our vegetables are broken down into different subcategories, subgroups. So we have to have a certain amount of red, orange vegetables throughout the week. We have to have a certain amount of dark greens, of starches, of beans, and then another category to meet the required cup or 3/4 cups a day. And so, and then at breakfast, we need a full cup of fruits. And then if I'm not sure if all the districts on the call utilize supper, but we also serve a supper program and we have to have a half cup fruit and a half cup vegetable for that. We also are a very large grant recipient of the fresh fruits and vegetable program. So we do daily deliveries to all of our elementary school sites where we offer them the fresh fruits and vegetable program. And then we also have a small after school snack, which has an option if a district would like to have a fruit or vegetable on the after school snack program.
And the school food service is got quite detailed requirements for the menu planning. Thank you.
And that's just the fruit and vegetable components. We also have grains, proteins, and milk as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite a puzzle to put together a school menu for sure.
It is. It is. It's an art. Yeah, thank you.
And then we have to like ideally our children want it too. So we incorporate our student voice, we incorporate taste testings. We always want to make sure our customers are happy.
Yes. Yes. Like you said, the recipe development can take a long time to find something the kids will eat. Yeah, thank you. So to recap on the planning and ordering process, it starts very early. Each district has a different system. Some plans menus 6 to 8 months ahead of time and have menu planners on staff. Schools may order 1 week ahead or months ahead of time. Schools like to use seasonality charts and cycle menus. Some plan menus every 3 months and adjust the menus for the season. School usually starts in August, and there are breaks during the school year without any meals. And although there are summer meals, the numbers are usually lower. As far as keeping in touch with schools, it's not necessary to check in, but do let them know if there's a problem. You can send samples to the purchasing team. This helps the staff assess the product. Ask your district about forward planting. Some schools work with farmers to plant crops in the winter and buy the crops in the summer. The most important thing to know about planning and ordering in school food service is that they start very early, sometimes 8 months ahead of time. Thank you. So next we have the hot topic of food safety. Where can you find the food safety requirements? Is there anything that school food service needs that's unique? And what is traceability? So we'll hear today from Tanya and Jean on food safety. So Tanya, please share your needs around food safety and what certificates are required in your district. Tanya? Are you on mute? I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Thank
Yes,
you.
in our district, we typically ask for the we call CPC, which is Certificate Producer Certificate, which the state or the county can provide for them, or the GAP, which is a good agricultural practices certificate. So that's important for us because that shows that the food is produced in a safe environment and we're going to get a good quality of the produce to our kitchens. And that's going to make sure that our food is going to be safe. It's important for us to know, like we purchase from a small food hubs. They have a small little producers, different little farms. So for us, it's important that they have traceability to let us know exactly from which farm it comes from. So then we can make sure that we are, if there is an issue or so, we can trace down the product and the issue if it's not, or any of the requirements that the state ask from us. Also, for us, it's important that that they have maybe perhaps if they have a new product, they just grow a new crop, like you said before. It's important for us to have a little sample of the product so then we can taste and make sure that that's exactly what we need before we order and not be able to utilize the product as we expected.
Thank you, Tanya. And Jean, please share what you need about what your needs are around food safety and traceability.
Sure. We like to see one of the same certifications that Tanya mentioned. That's kind of standard. We also, just as an FYI, we may want to come see your farm to see how it looks and how clean it is. And it's not necessarily a safety issue, but it is. We want to receive clean produce. We don't want it to come in super dirty. So that's an important factor. Traceability is important for our district. We're a larger district, and we will sometimes get, say, 200 to 250 flats of strawberries a week from sometimes 4 different berry growers. So it's really important to have either, the clamshells have a sticker with your farm on it, or you've got some sort of stamp on the flat itself, just something to identify that it's your farm. So whether you work through a food hub or produce hub, as Tanya mentioned, or you're providing to a district, it's really good to identify your product as coming from your farm.
Thank you. It's a lot of flats of strawberries.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Great. So to summarize, food safety is the top priority for school food service, as we're sure it is for all of you. Document your food safety practices. A good agricultural practices or GAP certificate may be required. You also may need a county certificate that shows that you are a certified grower. Be able to tell customers where the food came from and when it was delivered. It's best to use stickers, labels, or stamps on each package to identify the date and the farm. That can be used for traceability. Practice transparency, be open to touring your farm with food service staff and be able to explain your food safety practices. The key takeaway here is that food safety is the most important part of food service for schools. Food service directors need to know that the food they're serving is clean, safe to eat, and your eagerness to show them this that helps build trust in relationships. Thank you. So we are going to, in the interest of time, we are going to go to our close with the top 3 things that farmers need to know about school food. So we'll hear from each of our panelists as we close out this workshop. And let's start with the largest district and move to the smallest. And please share what you think are the top 3 things that farmers need to know about working with schools. So we'll start with Amanda, please.
Yes, so we've touched on it quite a bit today, but food safety is going to be one of our highest top concerns. You know, we are serving 2 little ones, and we want to make sure they're safe. Their hands are, their futures are in our hands. But then at the same time, we want to ensure food quality. So we want to have, the highest food quality that you can provide us. And then also understanding the logistics, what is needed for my district is going to be very different than what's needed for Kelsey's district. So understanding and then letting us know what your capabilities are. Are you able to wash the product, rinse, cut? Do you have cold storage facilities? Are you able to deliver? So those are, the logistics of the program is very helpful.
Great. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, Jean, what are the top 3 things that you want farmers to know?
Okay. Definitely quality and safety. I think it goes without saying. And communication. Those really are the top 3. You need to communicate. If you're not going to have something ready by Monday delivery, you need to communicate that, and you need to be honest. Or if it's not quite ripe or not quite ready, just be honest. Because the more honest you are, the more your food service director is going to appreciate you and trust you, and the stronger your relationship will grow over time.
Thank you, Jean. And Tanya, what do you think are the top 3 things that farmers need to know about school food service?
Well, number 1, I'm going to say everything that they said already. It's number 1. It's important, and safety and communication. Also, then they should remember that we do plan ahead. We do need to follow strict rules and maintain the relationship with us. Again, communication, like she said, be honest and communicate so we can have a good partnership.
Great. Thank you, Tanya. And we'll finish with Kelsey, please.
Well, I could echo what everyone else said. First, I just want to say farmers need to know that I think districts really do value partnerships with farmers. And if we can make it happen, we really want to work with you. Oftentimes in our cafeterias, we'll have our pictures of our farmers. We treat them like rock stars. So districts love farmers. So anything we can do to work with you, we'll try. 2, because we feed tiny, often, right? feed anywhere from a preschooler to a high schooler, sometimes tiny fruit or tiny produce works really well in tiny hands. So thinking about who our customers are is really important. And then aside from communication and food safety and everything else, I think sometimes if you think about novelty for school districts. If you're growing really traditional crops, but if you have something kind of fun and new we can introduce to our students, our kids really love that. And so helping our students find ways to be on fire for fruits and vegetables is often something food service directors like. So if you have cool, innovative ideas, we'd love to hear those too, in addition to everything else everyone said.
Thank you, Kelsey. All right. So to close, here are the most important things that you need to know about school food. All directors mention that students are their priority, food safety is critical, and the importance of relationships. While you're building a relationship, be persistent, consistent, and remember that frank and open communication is important. Know that schools plan ahead and must follow strict rules. Schools need very high quality produce to serve to their customers, and students eat with their eyes. To sum it up, there's a lot of potential in working with school food service. Take the time to build a relationship with the directors and grow your business with them. And we want to thank the four of you for sharing all your wisdom with us and all your advice and tips. We'll put a link in the chat on how to find a school district near you. This link is also listed in the resources handout. And we encourage you to contact the business office at the school district office to learn what documents are needed to become a vendor. Thanks. Now we're going to open up the workshop for questions and answers for about 15 minutes. Please use the Q&A button. Please do not use the chat. We're not able to answer questions in the chat. So we're going to start with a couple of questions that came in during the workshop. And maybe we'll just do a round robin here on this first one. Number one, have you implemented the new food pyramid? I invite any of the panelists who would like to address this.
No.
Eugene.
No, we haven't, and I would presume that we're all waiting for guidance on that from the USDA, and that will take some time.
Yes, I concur. That's as well my thought. We're waiting on guidance.
Mhm.
I would
you.
also say no. We did start listening to a few webinars on integrating and changing whole milk and just really thinking about the nutritionals, but so far there's not enough guidance to make any changes.
Thank
Same
you.
here, just waiting for guidance.
Thank you. Yeah. So the dietary guidelines are published, but then they're all interpreted with guidance, and we're waiting on that before we can implement anything in school food service. Thank you. Okay, we got another question. Could you share how your districts approach produce grading? Are you able to handle orders that come with items of variable sizes or slightly imperfect looks? Could you share how your districts approach produce grading? Would anybody like to address that?
I'm happy to share. Often, if we're going to have produce that's imperfect or if it's coming in different sizes, the farmer communicates that to us in advance so that we know. We had that just come up with kiwis. We were getting a lot of variable sizes. We have a food lab program, so our students were cutting it. And so it was an opportunity to teach kids how to make it more uniform. So that worked out for us. We had a different time where a grower didn't communicate that and sent us very, very large oranges. That was incredibly problematic for us, and we had to send them back because in schools we use our district, I think a lot of other districts use a Sunkist machine. So we used a machine to cut the oranges and the oranges were too big. So I think there's an opportunity to do that. But again, that upfront communication, letting us know what to expect so we can make sure we have a plan in place would be really important.
Thanks, Kelsey.
I would also say that, a lower grade is not our goal. We can work around some imperfections and things of that nature, but we're looking for top quality produce.
Thank you, Jean. Any other thoughts on produce grading?
And we're also looking for, at least a half cup serving. So if they're coming in too small, that becomes quite a challenge. We might need to serve two to make it a half cup serving, which could then become a fiscal challenge on us that we weren't anticipating.
Mm,
Yes, and if I would accept something like that, would be only if I would be chopping and using for the scratch cooking, that would be okay. But again, had to be communicated ahead of time, so then we can plan for that.
Great, thank you. So communicate, let people know, and then maybe the school district could handle different sizes and different grades. Maybe yes, maybe no. Thank you all. Okay, we've got a third question. Would love to know more about what different ways you engage students of all ages to get them excited about local farmers and develop an appreciation for local food. How do you engage students? This is a great question. Thank you.
I'll start.
We like to do a lot of taste testings. We'll tell the students where things are coming from. We might highlight it on our menus or in our newsletter. We do a monthly newsletter. We also always participate in the CDE's Farm to Summer celebration, which often highlights local produce over the summer during our summer meal program. We also have a farm to school coordinator who goes out and will do uh, education with our students in the cafeteria about what is local. And we also have farmers that come to our school sites and do assemblies to encourage and engage students about local produce.
Thanks, Amanda. How about Jean? You had something to add?
Yes, I would echo all of that. And in addition to that, we also received a CDFA grant where we wrote into our grant primarily has two parts. We take kids out to farms and they're actually on a farm, taking a tour, having a meal, helping to make the meal with what they pick. And then the second part of that is we bring in, we'll have like a farmer's market at a school. We'll bring in like maybe 8 local vendors to come in and the kids to get like market bucks and they get to buy things from these local farmers.
Mhm. Fun.
We do a little bit of when we do a recipe development, we do taste testing, and we also do a lesson, and then let them know where they come from, what, especially if they're from the farmers close by, where they are located, and all that. And also with a grant, we also do small farmer markets where the kids are able to actually see the product and talk to the farmer, and and create a whole thing. And later on, we ask them to do not only to give us a little feedback of that and what they learn about it. So then we post it in the cafeteria so they get excited about us being part of the farming life too.
Thanks, Tanya.
In our district, we do a lot of the same as the other panelists shared. The other thing that we do is we do something called Dia de la Familia. So we do Day of the Family at our local farmers market. Our local farmers market really wanted to partner with us, but we wanted to make it more accessible to our families. So we have a booth, and then our families get $10 in tokens where they can purchase fresh fruits or vegetables each month. And that's been a great way for our students to engage and our families to engage with the farmers market and experience the same produce that we're serving in the cafeteria. The other thing that we do is we send nutrition information to our teachers, and often they'll make a little 2 to 3 minute announcement in the classroom before kids come for lunch, so they have an opportunity to learn a little bit before they eat.
Nice. Y'all have a lot of different methods of engaging students and getting them excited about all the wonderful food. Appreciate that. Excuse me. So we'll wait about 1 more minute for more questions to come in. I would encourage farmers or producers to go visit a school at a lunchtime and watch the lunch service and see what is going on. I visited a junior high where they served 1,000 students in 30 minutes, and it blew my mind. So it's just a really great way to see what is happening at the school, and what the challenges are, and all the amazing things they're working on. So we'll wait another few minutes, another few seconds for more questions. I would appreciate all of your answers.
If you do go to a school, though, make sure you check in at the front office.
Yes. Yes. You have to sign in at the front office, show your ID, get a sticker. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And if you have a kid, one of your children's in school, go eat lunch with them, see what it's like. A lot of schools have received money in the last 5 years from the state of California to upgrade their kitchens. So they've been able to buy kitchen equipment, and they're now doing a lot of scratch cooking, which is very exciting. Okay, we got one more question related to the previous one. Do you find that there are any adults or parents that are engaged and are interested in local procurement? Do you do any outreach to parents or adults? Does any
We definitely have parent groups that are interested in us offering local produce and local food items for sure. I know I have a very vocal parent group that's interested in school meals, and I will occasionally do, now it's about annually, we'll do updates to them and tell them what we have going on in our meal program. Yeah, we definitely do have parent groups in Fresno's district that is interested in local procurement,
Thanks,
as I
Amanda.
imagine probably everybody does.
Yeah, we also have parents that are interested. We do try to highlight our local procurement on our menus. I think Amanda mentioned we also send a monthly newsletter to our parents, and that's how we highlight it. The only other thing that we do is at our back to school nights, we ask our parents to go through the lunch line and we serve them a school meal lunch. And that's when they get to go through the line and kind of experience what their kids do. And so they get to see some of the local procurement, and we'll highlight, just like we would for a student, what comes from local farms. So that's a good way for them to get some foundational information about the student, not only the student experience, but also how we procure our food.
Great idea.
We participate at the parents' night at the high school, where is our central kitchen is located, and we put a table with all the beautiful produce and have posters with all the recipes we're developing with pictures of the preparation and all that, and the parents just get amazed, and then we give us recipes of what we develop, and then we invite them to come and visit their children during lunchtime and then have a lunch with us, so then they can see what we do every day.
I think we can add marketing and promotion to all of your job descriptions.
Yeah, I would say we have some interest, not a lot. It's hit and miss, but the ones who are interested are very vocal. But for the most part, we are kind of driving the local food procurement bus by ourselves here in this district.
Great, thank you all. So that, I think, is going to wrap up our question and answer session. And we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your questions and your interest in bringing fresh local foods to schools. And as we near the end of our time together, we hope you know that we appreciate you. We recognize the local investment opportunity that school food purchasing provides, and we work to use that to invest locally in our communities. And at the end of the day, we are all partners in feeding our children quality, nutritious foods. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So we wanted to thank everyone who's attending this workshop, and we especially want to thank our 4 guest speakers. Thank you for sharing your stories and your insight that you've obviously gained from years of experience. Thank you for your commitment to serving fresh local foods to California students. And we want to express our thanks to our local food service directors and farmers for helping lead the way to provide fresh, local, minimally processed, student-informed, and culturally inspired meals to our students. And as a reminder, we prepared a handout of resources for you, which you can find on the conference website. Here's some contact information. We will put these in the chat. For technical assistance, you can contact the California Department of Food and Agriculture at cafarmtoschool@cdfa.ca.gov. They have a team of 16 people who can help connect farmers with schools. For general information, contact the California Department of Education at farm2school@cde.ca.gov. And these are also in the resources handout. So again, thank you so much. Appreciate your time here today.
All right. What a wonderful session. Thank you all so much. I think we're going to wrap a little earlier here. Thank you again to all the participants, the panelists. A somewhat related reminder, if you're in Southern California, our Los Angeles / Inland Empire Farmer Gathering is going to be about farm to school. So if you're interested to connect with some folks interested in the same topics as you are, make sure to come through. You can find the information in our conference page, caff.org/conference. And with that, I think that's going to be it. We'll see you in the next couple of sessions we have today or tomorrow, or like I said, in any of our farmer gatherings all over the state. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys sharing today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ready to leave?
I'm ready.